Start fast, stay fast, and finish strong. That is my motto for the Hawks this season. And I do believe that they got off to a really good start. 2 games with 30-plus points from Trae Young. I mean, you just had Zaccharie Risacher start in his very first game not last night, but versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, of course, the Hawks are back at home taking on the Washington Wizards. All of those things coming up, but we got to talk about these trade updates, these trade rumors and things of that such. Landry Fields has got some explaining to do because there is an imminent trade coming for the Atlanta Hawks. It's so many different names that's being thrown out, but I know that there is a trade looming for the Atlanta Hawks. Let me go ahead and just give you something really quickly. The Atlanta Hawks are ranked number 22 in the power ranking thus far. Number 22 so far for the NBA. And with that being said, I read through some of the notes that they gave the Atlanta Hawks, and one of the things that they pointed out was that we have a bevy of bigs. We got a lot of big players that we need to offload. You know, we can't keep as many as we have, and definitely specifically at the center position, you got Cody Zeller, you got Onyeka Okongwu, you got Larry Nance Jr., you got Clint Capela. There's a lot of bigs, and we got to offload them. We haven't seen Cody Zeller even at the press conference on media day. We haven't seen Cody Zeller at all. You dig what I'm saying? And then not only that, but Larry Nance hasn't even played in a regular season game. We saw him in the preseason, but he hasn't even played in a regular season game. So you start to wonder, who could the next person be? I've talked about Trae Young. I've talked about DeAndre Hunter. I've even talked about Clint Capela in some small degree. But now we are talking about Larry Nance Jr. and the possibility of him being moved, mainly because if you think about it, Onyeka Okongwu is starting to come into his own. He's starting to develop somewhat of a streak, he's starting to, be the guy that most Hawks fans expected him to be. And so with that, you also have Onyeka Okongwu that was up for trades earlier before the Knicks ended up trading for Cat. So at one point, there was a chance that Clint Capela was going to be moved, but he's not anymore. He's still with the Hawks, of course. So now we have to go with Larry Nance Jr. as the next speculation for, the Atlanta Hawks to, offset him. Now, remind you, Larry Nance is actually in his last year of a 2-year, $21 million contract. So that's also some incentive for for other teams, not the Atlanta Hawks, but for other teams to possibly pick him up, mainly because you know that there is not that much of a financial strain on you. Your bottom line stays your bottom line. You dig what I'm saying? But though he started, and I want to go back really quickly because Larry Nance actually said something regarding his teammates, regarding the Atlanta Hawks, though he stated that he does believe the Hawks will surprise some people this year so much that he believes that they can actually make a mark this year in the playoffs. And he's actually even said it. Let me go back really quickly and show you guys the other clip that I wanted to show you really quickly. Yeah, if we look at the East, and this is Larry Nance talking to the Hoops Collective podcast. He said, if you look at the East, we got a amount of teams that aren't looking to make the playoffs or care more about their draft stock than wins, okay? So there's more teams that care about their draft stock and all that other stuff more than wins. We're not one of those teams. And then Larry Nance went on to also say that, so hopefully if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll snag an 8 seed, we'll snag a 7 seed, we'll surprise some people. And I do believe that Larry Nance will, he will necessarily deliver on that, but I do believe that the Atlanta Hawks, they have the potential to deliver on what Larry Nance has said. But the possibility of him leaving is strong. You dig what I'm saying? Larry Nance had also even went to say that, my apologies, but Larry Nance said I actually also went on to say, he went on to say that he felt as though he was going to be a vocal leader for the Atlanta Hawks, somewhat of a vocal or a mentor type role. So he obviously felt as though he was going to be inserted into a leadership role. He almost envisioned himself in that role, but there is a strong possibility, according to my sources. And if you just read, you can also see the writings on the wall that there's a possibility that Larry Nance Jr. could definitely be on the move for the Atlanta Hawks. And that's the first person that I wanted to talk about. The next person that I wanted to talk about, of course, was Vit Krejci. Vit Krejci actually is the next player that has actually drawn interest from other teams, specifically the not Minnesota Grizzlies, no, but actually the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies have actually shown interest in our wing, our 6'8" wing. But the only deal is that this deal can't go through until December 15th. Here's why. Hold your ass for this one. The reason why they can't necessarily make a move for him or even, try to reach out for him and trade for him is the fact that the Atlanta Hawks actually signed him again to a 4-year, well, not signed him again, but actually signed him over the summer to a 4-year, $10.2 million contract. So with that, the deal would consist of Hawks trading Vit Krejci to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies would actually give the Atlanta Hawks the 2026 and their 2027 second round pick. And this is another thing that I want to point out. The Hawks would really be doing good to get the 2027 pick also. Here's why. There isn't any other picks in 2027. There isn't any other pick. So if the Atlanta Hawks can get the 2027 pick, or get their second round 2027 pick, first of all, that would be their only pick that year. But that would actually mean that they could, get something back for him. And to be quite honest, it seems a little lopsided. It almost seems as if the Grizzlies are desperate and they're giving more than what the Hawks are giving up. But I'll take it. I will honestly take it because that to me just says that, hey, these guys want something and they're very ambitious for what it is that they want. And if the Hawks have it to give, I am all for it. But those are the two guys that I wanted to point out, Vit Krejci and Larry Nance Jr. Those are, I guess, on the list right now. So we got Trae Young, DeAndre Hunter, and Clint Capela. And now we can add Larry Nance Jr. and Vit Krejci. There's an imminent trade coming. There is an imminent trade coming, okay? Just like winter is coming, there is an imminent trade coming. I just don't know to what team or what player is going to be leaving the Atlanta Hawks. But with that being said, we can definitely keep our eyes peeled. Make sure you guys stay here because I'll be giving you all of the updates. I'll give you all of the information because it is going to be big. Now, let's go ahead and just jump into the next thing. I want to talk about it, man. The Atlanta Hawks are actually doing pretty good so far. Now, I want to point out that I wasn't with you guys for a couple days because, whatever, internet issues, but that's not the point. I wanted to point out that, man, these Atlanta Hawks are doing pretty good. I did actually expect for them to at least start off, hey, 1 or 2 wins in the beginning, 1-2 wins maybe before their first loss. But they're doing quite well. I want to point that out, man. The Atlanta Hawks, they actually won versus the Charlotte Hornets 125-120, then also fell to the Oklahoma City Thunder 128-104. I want to point out that the Oklahoma City loss was more competitive than the score actually indicates. So I want to point that out in a way that, these Atlanta Hawks, they're not just falling over to certain teams on their schedule. I don't want to put that out there as if the Atlanta Hawks are marking certain easy teams on their schedule and then the more difficult season teams or whatnot, or teams that even made a push in the playoffs, that the Atlanta Hawks are backing off of them. But no, that's not the case. But I do want to point out, man, Zaccharie Risacher, super cool dude, and I'm super excited for this guy because not him, Trae Young. I am excited for Trae Young, but Zaccharie Risacher actually got his first start. And I mentioned it earlier, yes. Zaccharie. Let me get back to you guys. Anyway, Zaccharie Risacher got his first start, and it was, did pretty well. I want to point out that he did pretty well in his first start, man, ending the night, 13.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. Solid. Another round of applause. That is a solid night from Zaccharie Risacher with only 27 minutes of production for the Atlanta Hawks, man. That is pretty good. He had to actually come in for DeAndre Hunter, who was out. He was dealing with, his lower leg. I want to say it's his knee. I want to say it's his knee. I need to go back and check. But, of course, DeAndre Hunter was not in action last night. So, of course, that was the case. But Risacher is actually minus 17, which is actually second best amongst Hawks starters. And he's only behind Clint Capela. So, again, starting off, this kid is off to a really good start for the Atlanta Hawks, and I am super excited to see what is to come. Now, again, I said DeAndre Hunter was out. And probably, he's going to miss tonight as well. So we could see more of Zaccharie Risacher as time goes on. So I'm definitely excited for that. Another person I want to talk about, of course, would be Trae Young, man. Trae Young has been doing Trae Young stuff since the start of the season. And again, start fast, stay fast, and finish strong. That should be the motto for the season, and I do believe that the Atlanta Hawks are doing that right now, man. Right now, the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young is actually third in assists. I want to point that out. Third in assists in the NBA, only behind De'Aaron Fox and James Harden. So that's actually really good. And then, he's averaging 10 assists per game, and then he's also tied for fifth, or we'll just say he's in the top five. He's in the top five of scoring in the NBA as well, averaging 30.7 points per game. So I am super excited for that. You dig what I'm saying, man? So good so far. The Atlanta Hawks are doing so good so far. And then on top of that, man, Dyson Daniels, he's actually amongst the top five. He's actually, number 4 as far as steals is concerned on the Atlanta for the NBA. And he also said he wanted to be first team all NBA on defense. And so he's starting on the right track. Again, the first game with 5 steals, and then he's continuing to do that, disrupting offenses, making it difficult for their point guards to, get up a shot or even set their offense up. So major shouts out to the Atlanta Hawks. And with all that being said, man, I want you guys to drop down in the comments, leave a comment, and tell me what you think about the Atlanta Hawks start so far. What do you feel as though the Atlanta Hawks start looks like? Are you pleased with the start? You dig what I'm saying? Or do you want them to get better? You tell me what you feel in the comments, and I will be back. I will be back with you to give you more updates here on Digest Media.